If loving a sweet treat is wrong, then I do not want to be right, y'all. And these peanut butter cookies are so right, they should be wrong. Crispy edges, chewy center, full of peanut butter flavor. Hit that subscribe button, also ring the notification bell to see more recipes like this one. And let's get into how to make these dangerous peanut butter cookies, y'all. Hey y'all, if you're new here, I'm Nee and welcome to Lovey with Nee. If you're returning, thank you so much for coming back and hanging out with your girl. Today is a Whisk It with Nee episode and I'm showing you guys how to make the absolute best peanut butter cookies. Now, I did find this a recipe on TikTok, so I'll be sure to link the TikTok video in the description box as well as the written instructions and measurements, ingredients, and all that jazz, all in the description box, so check that out. Now, if you don't remember from another video, I am on my baking journey. I'm teaching myself how to bake, and one of my staples as I've learned to bake and become a better baker is to always mix your dry and wet ingredients separate before combining them together. So in one bowl, I'm adding my flour, my salt, my baking soda, and then in a second bowl, I'm going to add in my wet ingredients, which is first my brown sugar and butter. Now, I'm not going to combine my brown sugar and butter thoroughly because I am going to do a lot of mixing and I don't want to over mix. So after I do all the creaming of the brown sugar and butter, I'm going to go ahead and add in my eggs. Then I'm going to add in my milk as well as my vanilla extract and my vanilla paste, and we're going to give that a good mix together using the mixer. And of course, you can mix everything by hand if you do not have a mixer at your disposal. And y'all, this was my first time ever using vanilla bean paste, and I just felt so fancy. I felt so grown up using vanilla bean paste. I don't really know if it made a difference in the taste. Personally, I just know I felt grown using it, okay? So anyways, we're gonna go ahead and add in our peanut butter. Now, in the recipe that I'll have down in the description box, it says to use 3/4 a cup. Now, I made 2 batches, and the 3/4 a cup only gave me like a hint of peanut butter. So when I made my second batch, I used like 1 1/4 cup, and it really gave me like that peanut butter taste that I really like in a peanut butter cookie. So at your discretion, if you like more of a hint of peanut butter, go with the 3/4 cup. If you really want to taste that peanut butter, go with like 1 1/4 to like 1.5 cups of peanut butter. But once again, completely up to you. Now we'll just spoon in our dry ingredients and mix it in with our wet ingredients just a little bit at a time. And I normally mix until right when I no longer see any flour. So a lot of times I'll have to go in by hand and kind of finish folding it in, but it's always done me good to just use any electric mixer, or even when I'm stirring by hand, until right when I no longer see the flour, and that to me just signals that I'm all done. Now, make sure you scrape the sides and get all of the extra batter and all that stuff well combined. And just a side note, y'all, I broke my favorite rubber spatula, and as somebody who cooks, and you know, like when you have your favorite tool, I was tore up about it. I did buy a new one, but it's not the same. Anyways, we're gonna go in with these peanut butter chips. I've never had these before and almost ate the whole bag before I even got to add them to my recipe. Y'all, those things are good, and as many as you feel like you need in the recipe, how many ever it says, just do a little bit more because you're gonna need some more. Y'all, those things are so good. Anyways, I'm going off the course. Coming back, putting the train back on the tracks, okay? I'm going to put some parchment paper down, line my pan. This is just a cookie sheet. And a pro tip is, if you want your parchment paper to lay flat, just put a little bit of water down before you put the parchment paper down. I did let my dough cool in the freezer for about 30 minutes before I started working with it, just to let it firm up and be a little bit easier to manipulate. I did measure my balls. They're about 60 grams. That was the perfect size for me. Throw them in the oven and let them cook for about 11 minutes was right the perfect sweet spot for me and my cookies. Y'all, whenever you're making cookies, let them be a little undercooked, okay? That's perfectly fine while they're cooling, because you have to let your cookies cool. While they're cooling, they'll continue to cook through, and that way you'll have that fudgy, nice, chewy center, okay? That's just a tip. Do with that what you want, and if you choose not to do it, that's fine too. But y'all, after I let these bad babies cool off for a little bit and let them do what they want to do, that's it. And these peanut butter cookies turned out so very good. These were a crowd favorite for sure, and I've already gotten requests to make some more batches. But y'all let me know in the comments if there's anything that you would do different to this recipe. Personally, I would make fluffernutters with this and add marshmallows. I did look for marshmallows before I made these batches, but because it was the holidays, I couldn't find the first bag. But yeah, outside of that, that's probably the only thing that I would change. So like I said, y'all let me know what you would do differently in the comments below. Also, give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to my channel, y'all, and don't forget to tell somebody else to come on over and whisk it with me. Thank you guys so very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Yeah.